I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC Welterweight champion Belal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov is set for the UFC 310 main event. The UFC will close out its pay-per-view schedule for 2024 with two major championship fights in Las Vegas on December 7th, 2024. UFC CEO Dana White took to social media on Saturday to announce the headline bouts for UFC 310. Closing out 2024, a highly anticipated undisputed welterweight title match between newly crowned champion Belal, remember the name Muhammad, who has fought 24-3, won no contest in his MMA career, versus undefeated boogeyman challenger Shavkat Rakhmonov, 18-0, 18 finishes. All of his fights have ended in some kind of a submission, some kind of TKO, some kind of a KO. 18-0, 18 finishes. That's why we call him the boogeyman. That will headline the UFC 310 lineup inside of Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena. Okay, as you can see, this was a tweet from the UFC CEO Dana White. Obviously, I cannot play the audio and I cannot play the video because my YouTube video will be demonetized. So I will leave the link in the description. Belal, remember the name Muhammad, captured the UFC Welterweight Championship this past July, defeating Leon Rocky Edwards in dominant fashion. And it was a unanimous decision victory, I believe, to extend his undefeated run to 11 straight fights. I do want to say that there was a no contest in there. Belal Muhammad and Leon Edwards fought 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And that fight ended in a no contest, as I believe Belal Muhammad was got finger poked in the eye. So that fight ended in a no contest. Meanwhile, Shavkat Rakhmonov has won all 6 of his UFC matches. Obviously, he's 18-0, submitting both Jeff Neal, who was ranked above Shavkat Rakhmonov, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who was also ranked above Shavkat Rakhmonov in his most recent fight. That fight happened. Shavkat Rakhmonov fought Wonderboy Thompson, I believe that was last December, right? That was a very long time ago, right? It was last December. We just saw Buckley defeat Wonderboy Thompson. That was like a few weeks ago. But that fight versus Shavkat Rakhmonov and Wonderboy Thompson, that fight happened in December of last year. So Shavkat Rakhmonov has not fought anyone this year. I just want to mention that. You can see the lineup here, UFC 310. This is the full lineup, I believe. How many fights do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe they add 2, maybe 3 on the upper end, but this is a pretty solid lineup. Some former champions there. I do want to preface this by saying I am a MMA casual, so I cannot follow everything that's going on with the sport, but I do want to give some thoughts and opinion on basically the main event. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Belal Muhammad. Finally, I'm really happy the UFC made the right decision here. There's been a whole lot of legacy talk, and there's been back and forth between Belal Muhammad and Kamaru Usman. A lot of people, a lot of my MMA hardcore friends were making the argument that Kamaru Usman deserved the title shot versus Belal Muhammad. Well, I was saying, even though I'm a casual, that Belal Muhammad kind of made some really good points about Kamaru Usman's resume. 2 victory Kamaru Usman when he was champion. He defended the belt versus Jorge Masvidal twice, Kobe Covington twice, and Gilbert Burns once. So, it wasn't the strongest lineup in the world as far as title defenses. I do believe that Leon Edwards had the opportunity to jump over Kamaru Usman's resume, but now I think it's going to have to be someone like Belal Muhammad has an opportunity to jump over someone like Kamaru Usman's record. But I mean, with your first fight being versus the boogeyman Shavkat Rakhmonov, I wouldn't say it's a win-win situation, right? because if you do win, right, you defeated the Boogeyman 18-0. There's currently 3 ranked welterweights who are undefeated. Michael Morales, I believe his name is, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and a Ian Machado Gary. Let's say Belal Muhammad goes on to defeat a Shavkat Rakhmonov, goes on to defeat a Ian Machado Gary, goes on to defeat a Jack Della Maddalena, goes on to defeat a Michael Morales. It's going to look pretty good for his resume, right? Like, he, in my opinion, it's going to take some time, but someone like Belal Muhammad could jump over Kamal Usman as far as the legacy, having a better resume when it comes down to his UFC career. And another thing I really wasn't happy about, I really didn't want to see, is that the UFC has already made a few of these matches this year where the opponent, the challenger, is coming off of a loss. Earlier this year, you saw Israel Adesanya fight Dricus du Plessis. Israel Adesanya lost his last fight versus Sean Strickland, and he came back and got a title shot. Juliana Pena just fought Raquel Pennington. Juliana Pena lost her last fight like 2 years ago or something like that versus Amanda Nunes, came back, got another title shot for some unknown reason. And now we're looking at Stipe Miocic, right? But Juliana Pena won her match. But now we're looking at Stipe Miocic, and Stipe Miocic lost his last fight. That was what, maybe 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, versus Francis Ngannou, got knocked out cold in the second round and come back and gets another title shot. So I really didn't want to see a Belal Muhammad versus a Kamal Usman based off legacy. We want to see new blood. We want to see someone who's 18-0, all finishes in his career, get a title shot before someone who's 0-3 in their last, 3 fights, right? In my opinion, in my MMA casual opinion. So obviously, I'm rooting for Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think he's the boogeyman. I think he's undefeated for a reason. I think he has nothing but finishes on his record for a reason. Same thing I would say with Better BF. That fight is happening today. So I'm team Better BF. I'm team Shavkat Rakhmonov. But let me know your opinion of this story. Who do you think is going to win, right? Who do you think is going to win? Is this going to be an and still situation, or is this going to be an and new situation? Belal, remember the name, Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm Jason, UFC. Today we have a story about the UFC 310 main event will be Belal, remember the name, champion, UFC welterweight champion, Belal, remember the name, Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov will be the UFC 310 main event, final pay-per-view event of this year, December 7th, 2024. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.